I was planning on nailing something with this horse bow, and I did. I nailed a billy goat. It was a good shot. I think I was 25 meters out, but I won't bring you that video because the problem is that the penetration wasn't good. Now a traditional bow like a recurve, or in this case a horse bow, they travel a lot slower than your compound bow. So this is no good for hunting. Not saying that it can't be done. Of course it can be done. Just good shot placement. But once you hit something big, like a big billy goat, which I did, you need a lot of penetration for it to bleed out. And I didn't achieve that, so I wasn't too happy with it. Last week I had a little bit of work on. I had a few lawns to mow and did some tree trimming, and recently I've been selling a few things, just old things that's been lying around that we don't use. So one of the things was like a gas bottle. We had 2 gas bottles and we hardly used both of them. We just needed one. So selling things like that, anything that we don't touch for like 6 months or think that we don't gonna use again, I just sell it on Trade Me. So I brought this thing here. It is a crossbow. I had a crossbow in the past, but I sold it stupidly. I should have kept it. Huge advantage with these crossbows, and I'll go through it in a moment. As you can see, this is a recurve crossbow. I chose the recurve over a compound crossbow because it's just a lot lighter. I know a few people have been hunting with me, and you will know that I walk a lot in the bush. So carry something heavy into the bush is not ideal. I want it to be nice and light, or light as possible. So just going to see what we've got here. So of course they all come boxed and ready to assemble. And yeah, it just takes a little time to assemble it, but it's not too bad. The other reason why I chose the recurve over a compound crossbow is those compound crossbows are really, really powerful. I think that's a little bit of overkill for me. I think you don't need something that powerful. Like one of these recurve can easily get a pass-through shot. This is a Jag 2, and I used to have a Jag 1 or Jaguar crossbow, and I used to shoot things and the arrow comes through the other side. Another advantage of a crossbow is when you're stalking up on something, you don't need to stand up and pull the bow back. With a crossbow you can just keep laying down and then take a shot. So that is something I really, really like. With a compound crossbow, you have to use one of these string pulling aid. With a recurve, I don't know if I can do it on this, but I could be able to do it on the other one, is you can just use your hand and it's a lot quicker. So when you're accidentally spotted something, you can just quickly reload rather than have to play around with these strings. So that's another reason why I like these recurve crossbows. So here's everything from the package. You've got your main unit there, your limbs, quiver mount, and then the lube, and then you've got your foot. Don't know what it's called, but that's where you place your foot to pull up. Your string, your string stock, your sight, arrows and glasses, and the manual. I thought they were going to give us a strap as well, like a carry strap to go from here to here, but I can sort something out for that. Just going to take a little time to assemble it now. That is it. Everything is all tightened. It's quite easy to put together. The sight runs by a little battery that goes in there, and it's a 3-dot system. So hopefully you can see that. There you go. Should be able just to see those red dots in the middle of the scope there. If you're hunting near a block that has a lot of farm, and then all of a sudden the farmer hears a gunshot, he's going to think that you've been shooting some of his stock. And then you go and have this big argument and all that kind of thing. So this thing here is pretty quiet, and that's one advantage, is that you can shoot without anybody knowing that you're around the area. It's also good if you've got a lifestyle block and you've got neighbors and you just want to keep it quiet. Let's say you've got some rabbits that you want to get rid of, and yeah, just using one of these would do the job. So with the rope, there's a left and right. And then you hook it behind something like that. There'll be a place for everything, different to each crossbow. And then over like that. And the other one would do the same. And then get the string nice and even. And then you put your foot there, and then you gently pull up until you hear a click. Ooh, that gives me the chills. Freaky. Hands off the trigger, safety on. If you need to release, just put an empty one without a broadhead in, and then just fire it into the ground. And that's how you release the string if you aren't ready to shoot. Just want to know if it's possible for me to pull it up by hand. Yep, it's possible. Awesome. Well, that's the first shot, trying to sight it in, and obviously it went too high. And getting that out is going to be a mission. Well, no problem with penetration. That's how thick it is. It's always good to check for any damages. If it's too damaged, don't use it. Otherwise you might have an accident. When you pull the string up, it automatically goes into safety. Alright, what I'm trying to hit is that blue cap, and I am about 20 meters away from the target. You'll see me walk up there in a moment. So 20 meters out. The only problem with this is once you hear the thunt or the t that it takes a little bit of time for it to travel and hit the spot. So that's the only downside to it. It's not as quick as the compound crossbow. A little bit to my right. The height adjustment's fine. I'm just going to do another shot just before I adjust anything and just make sure it's right about there. Could just be me pulling the trigger wrong. That's pretty close. I did feel a little bit of movement when I pulled the trigger. I think if it's just a little bit more still, that would have been perfect. 30-meter shot on the second dot. That's not too bad. I don't think I'll be missing any more. This here, the stock can be, I think it's called a stock. This here, it can adjust forward and back, but I'm just going to keep it short so that it's easy to walk around with. And I'm quite a small person, so that there feels comfortable enough to make a shot. I should be round about here, but that's okay. I quite like it there. And another great part, I know that I'm really promoting crossbows, but another great part with crossbows is that unlike a rifle, you can leave this in your car, or you can leave it, it doesn't have to be in a safe, because the rules around owning one of these is a little bit more relaxed. But always just never dry fire it without a bolt in, and always keep your fingers away from this area. Otherwise you won't have any fingers or thumb. Most of the modern crossbow now, they've got this huge hand rest here so that you can't get your fingers across, which is great. So I'm quite impressed with this. It is really something to consider if a crossbow suits you, and it's definitely going to suit me in the next coming hunt. So thanks for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you on my next video.